That's right, it's Big Lead Sports on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, Sirius 210, XM 87. I'm Steve Kyler from Big Lead Sports and my man Ryan Benini hanging out with you. We're going to be with you here until 1 o'clock. We've got Richard Fronapfel from theofficepool.com hanging out with us. We're going to take some phone calls with you. Now, Richard, I want to put you on the spot a little bit because you kind of threw me under the bus on the whole Cam Newton thing, where I had made the comment that Tony Romo, in my mind, wasn't, Cam Newton wasn't that huge of a leap, and you had said, well, Cam was probably a little better than Steve was giving him credit for, and I'll give you some props here. He is. Basically, Cam Newton averaging about 27 points a week, where Tony Romo is giving you about 18 points. So that's significant enough of a bump. That's a good second-tier running back bump difference there, so I'll give you a little bit of love on that one.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay. I kick Ryan Benini around the studio like I own him. The least thing I could do is give you a little bit of love. Which, by the way, did you hear about our bet? You were part of our bet the opening week where the Roddy White, Julio Jones, Brandon Lloyd, you were part of that, right?
I was there. I heard it.
Okay. So basically now that we're a week away from calling it, I am a landslide to win this. So you've got to help me out next week when I officially win this, because I've got to come up with a name for Ryan Benini's fantasy team, as I now get the naming rights to his team for the balance of this year and all of next season as a result of this. So
that's big.
Yeah, I'm going to need some help.
All right, well,
Ryan's
I've got nothing now, but I'll give you something soon.
Yeah, I was thinking the pink pom-pom cowboys, little furry kittens. That's where I was going with
and
that.
I hate cats too, so that's even better.
Other than Ryan Hart's Peyton Hillis, I'm just struggling a little bit. So we've got to figure out something fun.
That's like 12-year-old girlish, though.
Yeah, but that's kind of the point of it, is to have some fun with it.
Yeah, I think that's
at least let me have some. I'm sorry, guys. You got to at least save some dignity here for me. Just a little bit.
No,
I don't have a lot to begin with. So.
No, I need something that really just destroys your manhood in a way that is at least somewhat remotely PC. I mean, we can't go too nuts. We do have a wide, diverse group that looks at these, but I do need to come. So if you've got something out there you think you can help me out in this, I'm looking for something that would truly embarrass Ryan Benini. So if you want to help us out, 888-XM Fantasy, 888-963-2682. Let's head back out to the phones. We've got Tom in Philadelphia. Tom, what's going on, my man? It's Big Lead Sports.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for taking my call. I've got a quick question for you. I got a trade-off for the guy who wants MJD and DeMarco Murray for Frank Gore and Cam Newton. What do you guys think?
Okay, he wants to give you MJD, or he wants you to give?
Yeah, he wants me to give him. I apologize.
Okay, so you're giving up MJD and Frank Gore?
No, DeMarco Murray.
And Murray, and you're getting back Cam and Frank Gore?
Yes.
I'd probably make that deal. Richard, how about you?
Really, who's your starting quarterback now?
I got Fitzpatrick and Dalton.
You're not in bad shape. You're not in bad shape. I mean, it's not like you're holding on to Josh Freeman or anything. You're not in bad shape, but I would make that deal. I mean, Frank Gore's obviously a question mark. With MJD and Murray, you've got two dependable backs. And, DeMarco Murray's numbers may go down a little bit when Felix Jones gets into the lineup. But to me, I think when Frank Gore is healthy, you're getting big numbers out of him. The question is when's he going to be healthy? He had to be helped off the stage on Sunday. So that's a real flag for me. But just looking at Cam Newton's numbers, looking at his remaining schedule, I'd look at that deal. I'd look at that deal pretty hard. Ryan?
I'm on board with this one as well. Richard, did you think you should do this trade?
Yeah, I do. Like Steve said, DeMarco Murray might get a little less action when Felix Jones comes back. And MJD, I have him on a couple of my leagues, and he's a great player. He runs for a lot of yards, but he doesn't find the end zone a lot. So, I think this is a significant upgrade for you at quarterback, so I'd make that deal.
Let's head out to Kevin in Chicago. Kevin, it's Big Lead Sports. How can we help you?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for taking my call. How you guys doing tonight?
Not a problem, Kevin. What's on your mind?
Good. I have a trade question. If I could read my starting lineup and this gentleman's starting lineup and then give you the offer to give you an idea of what we're looking at.
Give us the top bullet points, because obviously we can't get into a huge roster thing, but give us the bullet points.
All right, his wide receivers, he has Cruz, Wallace, Welker, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown. His running backs are Rice, Lynch, and Felix Jones. I have Forte, Jackson, Tolbert, McGahee, Bolden, Holmes, and CJ. He wants McGahee for Antonio Brown.
I don't know, Willis McGahee put up a huge number last week.
Kevin, is that a PPR league?
It is a 10-team non-PPR.
I'm okay with that trade. I think the bigger and better numbers for Antonio Brown are ahead of him. He's come on nicely in the last couple of weeks. Hines Ward's banged up again. Emmanuel Sanders just had surgery. The Pittsburgh offensive line is starting to click after playing together for 4 consecutive weeks, and Big Ben's starting to find his own groove. So I'm okay with that deal. I just can't anticipate McGahee continuing to explode like he did last week. Richard, what do you think on this one?
Yeah, I agree 100%. You know, I like McGahee. I like McGahee's matchup this week, but overall, I'd say Antonio Brown has a huge upside now.
Thanks for the call. Let's go to Dave in New York. Dave, it's Big Lead Sports. How can we help you?
How are you guys doing today?
We are good, Dave. What's on your mind?
2 quick things. First one, which receiver is a better waiver pickup, and would you start them over David Nelson in a 1-point PPR? Bennett, Ford, or Darius Moore?
Oh, man, I'm having such a hard time buying into what we saw in the Oakland Raiders this past week. Ford had a real nice game. Moore was targeted more than anybody else. Darius Hayward-Bay, who had finally come to life in the last month and a half, was completely non-existent in that one. Nelson is fairly consistent, especially in a PPR league. If you're deep enough, Dave, where you can grab a Ford, I'd probably go that route. He and Palmer did seem to have a nice rapport. Ford is a guy the team loves. Let's not forget speed and Oakland go hand in hand. Ford has it. They're going to make it a point to get him on the field as much as possible. Playing him over Nelson, though, I think I'd pick him up and tuck him away. I want to see a little bit more of that Oakland offense before I'm ready to jump onto any of the wide receivers as a weekly play going forward. What do you think, Richard?
Yeah, of those, I would go with Ford. Denarius Moore is just way too up and down. But, yeah, right now I think Nelson's the more solid play.
Let's head out to Brad in Salt Lake. Brad, it's Big Lead Sports. How can we help you?
Thanks for taking the call. I've got a trade offered to me. It's an 8-team PPR keeper league. And I'm getting offered Frank Gore and Stevie Johnson for Jimmy Graham and Steven Jackson. And we can start tight end in a wide receiver position. We have 3 starting wide receivers, 2 running backs.
Frank Gore, Steven Jackson. I think Frank Gore's the better player, and especially for the balance of the season, I think Frank Gore's the better player. Stevie Johnson, Graham. I like Graham in that situation. As good as Stevie Johnson's been on a week-in and week-out basis, and really he is the splash play guy, it seems, for the Buffalo Bills. Graham's fantasy numbers are just silly. I'd probably make that deal. I think the running backs are a push. I think you get a little bit of an upgrade with Graham and the fact that you can play him in a flex. I'd probably make this deal. Richard, how about you?
Yeah, I like Graham and Jackson over Johnson and Gore big time. And I actually think Jackson, the rest of the way, is going to have better numbers than Gore is.
I think the running backs are pretty much a wash in this one, guys. That being in a keeper league, neither one gives you that much better value than the other either. Both of them are perennially injured. Man, that's tough. Jimmy Graham has been playing the video game type numbers most of the season, a term that Steve loves to use for the highlight reel plays that some of these guys do. But I just can't see him consistently making those types of numbers week in and week out. There's just so many weapons in that New Orleans system that as time goes, I think he's just part of the puzzle. He's not the puzzle. Whereas with Buffalo, I think Stevie Johnson is the big piece of the puzzle for the passing game. I'd be inclined to stick with the Stevie Johnson-Gore set.
Thanks for the call. We're going to we're going to let Richard Fronapfel get out of here. Richard, good stuff as always. What's going on over at officepool.com?
Oh, well, we got Thursday night box pools, Thanksgiving box pools, second chance survivor pools, and as always, about 15 different ways to talk smack.
All right. Well, I need to get into that because apparently when I don't pick, I do well. So I won't pick again this week because what did I get? 10 right? That's how I'll get back into this, is not playing.
Steve's going to beat me by not picking. Perfect.
That's right.
Richard, good stuff as always, my friend. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll catch up with you down the road, and good luck with your fantasy team. We'll catch up with you shortly.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. He is Richard Fronapfel from theofficepool.com.
How do you do?
Hey, is it still on?
Now it's recording again. If that's moving, it's recording. You want to hit the